Today, I'm going to be talking about if more gear is actually making your photography worse. My name is Evan Ulbricht. I'm a professional surf and lifestyle photographer here in San Diego. Super excited to talk about this video. I actually made a video like this around 2, maybe 3 years ago. It did really well, had a lot of fun with it, and I've experimented with this actually since then. So excited to talk about what I've learned. So first thing is that the myth that more gear equals better photos, it is just not true. If you look at most professional photographers, they use 1 or 2 lenses during most shoots. Like I've seen professional photographers only carry around maybe a 24-70 and a 70-200, or maybe they love their 35mm and they use a 24-70 and a 35, stuff like that. Most photographers don't carry around like 4 or 5 lenses. You just don't need that many. Like most people have that many lenses that are professional photographers, but if you look at what they're actually using for most shoots, if you shoot lifestyle maybe, usually you're using the same lenses for those shoots. So you don't have to have all these really long sports lenses and all this stuff if you're not shooting that constantly, or even if you're not making enough money with it. You can also rent those lenses and stuff like that as well, which will make you a lot more money in the long term because those lenses can get so expensive, and really any nice glass is really expensive. And you see these professional photographers are not having a ton of these lenses either. A lot of them rent these as well. So always know that it is a total myth that more lenses equals better photography. And actually what I'll talk about a little bit later is that it can be limiting to what it can make you do for your creativity in those photo shoots. Second thing is how gear can stop your creativity and really limit what you're doing. So accumulating more gear can lead to a lack of inspiration with your shoots. I've seen this a lot with me with moving around during the shoot. So if I have a 24-70 and a 70-200, I can usually stand in the same spot and get a ton of great photos, ton of different focal ranges in there obviously as well, where maybe I bring a nifty 50 or maybe a 35mm, and you actually have to move around to get the shot that you're looking for. And I find it myself personally, and I know a lot of other photographers have said this, that they feel way more creative when you're actually limited by that and you have to move around, you have to find new angles, stuff like that. Actually helps you with your creativity and find new shots and find new ways to get those shots as well, which I think is so important, especially when you're starting out. And F-Stoppers actually said that early work done with minimal gear led to more experimental and creative shots, which is super cool to see from a huge photo publication. Third thing I want to talk about is physical and cognitive load of excess gear. So physical burden of carrying multiple cameras and lenses. This is specifically for traveling as well. So I've traveled a bunch to do photography, done a lot of cool work, but at the same time, carrying like 3 bags of cameras and lenses and stuff is not the move. You do not want to be doing that. You should have your certain amount of lenses and cameras that you use every shoot and bring those. If you have too many lenses, then you're like, okay, what lenses do I need? Oh, you're at the shoot. Okay, what lens should I use for this? Where if you have 1 or 2 lenses, boom, get the lens, get the camera, you're good to go. Where having too much actually makes you think about it too much, and it'll really hurt your photos, and it'll actually make you more stressed out during the shoot. So have those certain cameras and lenses that you use consistently, and it'll help with everything from just traveling with all your lenses to just making less decisions during the shoot. And the fourth thing is, when does getting more gear actually matter? So for me, this is for doing sports photography, surf photography, stuff like this with those longer lenses. I have a 1-400mm lens, 70-200mm lens, and these are amazing for surf and sports, where a lot of people do not need a 1-400mm lens. That's a really weird lens if you're doing portraits. It's going to be super flat in photos and just look very different than usually what most people are looking for portrait photos, which is usually a 35mm lens. But you should have these specific lenses if you're doing stuff like, hey, you're doing an F1 race. Okay, I need these type of lenses for this race that work long distance, short distance, ultra wide, maybe if you're in the pit, stuff like that. Have them for those shoots, but don't buy them just to have them. Have them if you're actually going to use them for those desired purposes that you've already set out for them. And don't buy them before you plan on doing shoots, because I've done that and then I never use the lenses. Buy them when you know you need them for those shoots, and then you'll actually use them. All right, the fifth thing I want to talk about is focus on the fundamentals. So I think a lot of people nowadays especially are like, hey, I need these new cameras, I need this to take better photos, when realistically, their photos aren't good because they don't know the fundamentals of photography, like composition, how to edit a photo, how does lighting work, the background, all of this stuff. Most people don't even know about that, or even shooting in manual and stuff like that. If you don't know the basics of photography, don't even be thinking about getting new gear. I had a GoPro for 4 years until I got a real camera, just learning the basics of, hey, this is what I like to shoot, this is good composition, this is good lighting. And yes, it was a GoPro, but it still really helped me to give a basic fundamentals of, hey, this is how photography works, this is how a camera works. And I think that was so important to me developing to being a solid photographer now, and in my work now, I totally see that as well. And the sixth thing is get more gear when you need it. So this goes off of that. Do not buy gear before you need it, or even if you don't know those settings, don't buy the gear. Get the gear when you feel like you're actually being limited by what you have. And gear is a tool, not a crutch. So choose that quality over the quantity. So get the gear when you need it, and don't just go out and buy 10 lenses. Buy the camera you know you need with the lens you know you need. And that is so important because lenses, I have a 24-70 on here. Stays on my camera probably 95% of the time. This thing is amazing. Don't cheap out on those lenses that you're gonna use because they make the biggest difference, usually even bigger than the camera, depending on what you're upgrading to or what you have now. So I would highly recommend focusing on that quality and upgrading when it's actually limiting you and you can't feel like you can't get any better without those new gear. So one fun challenge that I would say that you can do with your photography is choose one camera and one lens to use for a few months and just try it out. Don't use any other lenses. Obviously, if you have a big client shoot, you can obviously don't do that. But if you're going out and shooting for fun, always use the same lens. See how it actually limits you in what you can do, but then it'll actually make you think more creatively, more out of the box, and get some amazing photos. Go try it out. I've done it before. It's a lot of fun for a few months, so would highly recommend. And overall, more gear does not equal more creativity. Learn the basics, have fun with what you're doing, and upgrade when you feel like it's actually limiting you in what you can do. So thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button. I know a lot of you guys aren't subscribed, so join the community. Have a lot of awesome stuff coming soon, and see you next video.